A couple of days ago, the Council on Foreign Relations released this chart that I'm going to put on screen right now. Wow. So weak. Too weak. Our leaders are weak. A quote from Donald Trump that he said over the campaign trail a lot. So the chart, as indicated, 12,192 bombs dropped in Syria. 12,095 in Iraq, 1,337 in Afghanistan, and so on, as you can tell by the picture. So what does that mean? Now what? What do you do? You know, Donald Trump goes out there and goes, our leaders are weak, I'll be tough, I'll bomb them, and quote, I'll bomb them and their families. Dude, you have... It's proven. It's right here. Here's a graph done by the Council on Foreign Relations. 12,000 in Syria, 12,000 in Iraq. It's the total is like, I don't even remember how much. I didn't write it down, but it's a lot. As you can tell by the picture that I put up, it's a lot. This is a lot of bombs being dropped. I remember the calculation someone did: 75 bombs a day, 75 and a half bombs a day. What? We drop 75 bombs a day in these countries? Are you kidding me? Are you We're in 7 countries. We're in Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Somalia, Yemen, Libya. What's next? Now, granted, before I get to that point of what's next, some of these countries is all-out invasion, like Iraq and Afghanistan. Some of them are drone strikes, which is, I think, the majority of the rest of them. But we're still in interventions across the globe. What do you do? How many countries do you want to invade? Obama's so weak. Donald Trump's going to be more strong. He's going to be alpha male. I am alpha male. What do you do? How many countries do you invade? 8? 16? 26? 42? 63? How many countries do you invade? How many countries do you want to invade? Because that's the problem. It doesn't stop. You're going to have John Bolton and Michael Flynn and Mattis, who all want to go to war with Iran. We're about to be in 8 countries. I guarantee it. We're about to be in 8 countries. Or if we're not in Iran, we are going to be so close to a war with Iran. It doesn't end. It doesn't end. 50% of our money goes to the military in discretionary spending. 50% of our budget goes straight to the military, no questions asked. Everybody asks, how are you gonna get lower community college tuition? How are you gonna give everybody health care? Infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our pipes in Flint to get clean water. Nobody's gonna pay for that, but nobody questions when our budget goes to the military. Nobody questions it. It's not on CNN. It's not on MSNBC, the most liberal place, even though they just hired Greta Van Susteren. Nobody talks about this. Fox News for sure is not going to talk about this. Nobody talks about how we are dropping all these bombs and how we're wasting all of this money. I'm not arguing for a complete and total shutdown of spending money for the military. Absolutely not. That is not my position. I'm just saying we're in 7 countries. What do we do next? The problem isn't getting any better. The problem that they focus on is radical Islamic terrorists. And it's not getting better. We're barely... ISIS is fighting the Syrian government, Shia Muslims, and the Kurds, all just in Syria. They're also getting bombed by us and the international community. So why are we in there when we can't get clean water to Flint and 50% of Americans live in poverty? 50% of Americans make less than $30,000 a year. Why are we bombing brown people in the Middle East? Why, again? I'm not saying don't bomb them at all. I'm a little bit more right wing on this position, but I'm still a progressive. I would consider myself on this issue. Don't invade anymore. Get out of the smaller ones, and then we can have a discussion on what you want to do with Syria and what you want to do in Iraq and Afghanistan. Iraq shouldn't have been a problem, first of all. It was a false war. Bush killed Saddam Hussein, and it destabilized the whole region, and ISIS formed out of that because people under Saddam Hussein's control just didn't have a leader to follow, so they all created ISIS. So what do? You pull out or you stay there forever? Well, I mean, if you pull out of Afghanistan, the Taliban is just going to regain control of it anyways. Okay? But, I mean, you pull out of Iraq, all of these Shia Muslims, the Kurds, the Syrian government, they're all fighting ISIS. Why are we fighting ISIS when we can't get clean water to Flint? Our infrastructure is falling apart. We have a grade of D on infrastructure by the Society of Civil Engineers. And you want more war? You want more war. That's absolutely ridiculous. We cannot do this. The Iraq War, $7 trillion once it's all said and done. And by, I think, 2040 or 2050. $7 trillion, nearly half of the debt as of right now. Where's the outrage? These people are, Obama spends, Obama's weak. The Iraq War will cost almost half of the deficit as of now. And Obama has dropped, I don't even remember the total, thousands upon thousands of bombs in 7 different countries. More countries than when Bush left us in. He's a real liberal. He deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. Maybe for some other things, but definitely not for his foreign policy. You think he's weak? He's a weak president. See, it's all about our priorities. Our priorities are so messed up as a country. It's all about priorities. And for some reason, ours are completely messed up.